Katie just gets home when she hears a strange noise. She walks up carefully. After opening the bathroom door, she finds an alligator taking a bath. Katie's so scared that she bolts right away. The alligator follows her. She figures it's gonna hurt her. But whoa, the alligator starts singing,
"You stick to the predictable you've known."
Then dancing, and even shows off his cooking skills. At first, Katie's really freaked out. She's worried he'll gobble her up, but little by little she's won over by its cuteness. Katie hasn't had this much fun in ages. With the alligator leading, they work together like a dream. Soon they whip up a fancy cake. Just then, Josh gets home. He's totally shocked to see this. He never thought his mom would be cool with Lyle. It all started a few days ago. The Prims moved into a new house. They thought they were in for a great life. But as soon as Josh gets to school, the other kids either make fun of him or beat him up. He's even bullied for not knowing how to like a video and loses his appetite. When he gets home at night, Josh is searching online for how to make friends. All of a sudden, a kitten shows up on the windowsill. That kitten may look all sweet and innocent, but its owner, Alistair Grumps, is a real pain. The day the Prims moved in, Grumps was already complaining. It was either about the noise or telling them to watch out. Just because the kitten drank Josh's milk, Grumps starts threatening to make them pay 10 grand. While Josh is having a blast with the kitten, some singing comes from the attic.
You'll always remember me.
Josh grabs a flashlight and runs up there. He doesn't see anyone, but the kitten's fur stands on end. Oh no, is this place haunted? Josh looks back and nearly collapses from fear. The cat goes all puffy too. Right in front of them is Lyle, the moving alligator. The cat lunges at Lyle, who is so scared that he opens his big mouth. Lyle knows he's in hot water, so he takes off. Josh chases after him, but Lyle's way too fast. Josh can only watch as Lyle disappears into the sewer and out into the alley across the street. Even though it's pitch black, Josh keeps going. But then, the city at night is seriously creepy. All of a sudden, a homeless guy jumps out and tries to grab Josh's phone. Just then, Lyle lets out a huge roar. The homeless guy runs off like crazy.
That was totally awesome!
Lyle's a bit shy after the compliment. Then, he spits out the cat, who's muttering angrily. Lyle feels bad, so he turns to leave. But Josh knows Lyle didn't mean any harm, so he invites him to come home. Lyle's the cutest alligator ever. Seeing Josh is down, Lyle takes him to his secret spot. There's a bunch of splashing, and it turns out to be a trash can. They pick up some trash, set it up like a meal, and Josh actually starts to feel better. After Josh tells Lyle about the bullying at school, Lyle decides to share his story. When Lyle was a kid, a magician named Hector Valenti found him. Hector's eyes lit up when he heard Lyle sing. He thought he'd hit the jackpot and could make a fortune. He took Lyle home and started teaching him music, hoping he'd do a solo in a show. But Lyle was too nervous in the new place and didn't cooperate. Still, Hector thought he was adorable and gave him a scarf. With Hector's love and care, they started to bond. Lyle's got real talent, and with all the practice, his singing gets better and better. Hector decides to go all in. He mortgages his house to put on a huge show that everyone in the city is talking about. Posters of singing Lyle are everywhere. Everyone's excited for the big day, but when the show comes, Lyle's so nervous, he can't even say a word, let alone sing. Hector's called a fraud, and the show's a total disaster. Hector's broke now and has to leave town. Before he goes, he promises to see Lyle again and leaves him a pair of headphones, but they never meet again. Lyle's only 12, but he's already been through a lot of letdowns. Still, he believes in friendship. His story gives Josh the courage to turn things around. On the next day, when Josh arrives at school, he takes the initiative to make friends with one of his classmates. Surprisingly, the classmate actually agrees. Then, when he gets home, Josh is happily telling Lyle about what happened today. But the next second, Katie comes home from work and almost nearly jumps out of her skin when she sees Josh and Lyle sleeping together. Josh tries to explain, but come on, who wouldn't be scared of an alligator in the house? Josh tries to calm her down, swearing Lyle won't bite. He tells her to take another look. Lyle senses things aren't going smoothly, so he heads to the kitchen. Right in front of Katie's shocked eyes, he starts cooking. Katie's a top-notch chef, so this seems like a bad idea. But Lyle starts picking ingredients and tools in a way Katie's never seen. She's pretty impressed. Lyle even pulls her into a dance. All of a sudden, Katie gets an idea. She realizes that trying new things in cooking is the way to go. Lyle's shown her the answer to a cooking problem she's been stuck on. After they make the cake, Katie's on cloud 9. That night, when she's in bed, Joseph even thinks that she's got a new love interest. Joseph thinks he's being cheated on. One day he comes home early and catches them red-handed, but instead of a mistress, there's a singing alligator in front of him. Joseph screams in terror and is so frightened that he almost jumps out of the window. When Lyle sees this, he even wants to have a wrestling match with him, but Joseph is too scared to take it on and can only keep throwing things. Then, while Lyle isn't looking, he runs downstairs. Just as he's about to open the door and leave, he finds someone standing at the door. It turns out to be Hector, Lyle's former owner, the magician. When Hector bought Lyle, he was attracted by Lyle's singing ability. He wanted to make money off of Lyle, but every time Lyle got on stage, he was too nervous to even open his mouth. In the end, Hector, who was in huge debt, chose to leave him. At first, Lyle is reluctant to recognize him, but when Hector claps his hands, that familiar feeling comes back. Seeing that Lyle responds, Hector continues to dance. When Lyle hears the sound, he remembers all the happy times they spend together. He happily rushes down the stairs. Just like that, Hector and Lyle are both allowed to stay again. The Prims stay up every night, either singing or dancing. They're having a blast, but the people living downstairs are suffering. One day, Hector suggests taking Lyle out to build up his confidence, but Katie and Josh are worried that it might scare the passers-by. Hector doesn't care about what others think, though. He not only takes Lyle to a restaurant for a meal, but also rides in a taxi with him. They go to a lot of places together. It's a kind of happiness Lyle has never experienced before. Now, the only one who hasn't been won over by Lyle is Joseph. But this is a piece of cake for Lyle. He knows Joseph loves wrestling, so he becomes his personal trainer. Joseph regains his former peak condition from training with Lyle. He's over the moon. Now, everyone has been conquered by Lyle. They often throw parties at home, but the downstairs neighbors are the ones who bear the brunt. Grumps can't take it anymore and calls all the neighbors together for a meeting. He originally wanted to condemn the Prims for privately keeping an alligator, but unexpectedly, Hector turns the tables on him, saying that he installed a camera without everyone's consent. Feeling guilty, Grumps has to disband the meeting, but just when everyone thinks Lyle is safe, suddenly the sound of police sirens comes from downstairs. Josh quickly takes Lyle to hide. He goes to the attic to look for Hector, but finds that Hector has already disappeared. It turns out that when the meeting was over, Grumps asked Hector to stay behind and offered him a large sum of money. With no other options, Hector finally calls the police. Soon, the police discover Lyle's presence. With a shot, although Lyle looks completely harmless, he still can't escape being taken away. Watching the police car driving away, the whole family is heartbroken. Lyle is sent to the zoo. There are many alligators of his kind there. Everyone thinks this is where Lyle belongs, but only Josh knows that he's different from other alligators. Not only because Lyle can sing, but also because he's Josh's only friend. Josh spends the whole night crying his eyes out after losing his friend. But just then, Hector, filled with guilt, shows up. He tells Josh that he'll come out at 4 a.m. Although Josh doesn't trust Hector, he can't help but go to the zoo. Hector uses magic to deceive the security guard at the entrance and successfully sneaks into the zoo. He finds Lyle, but Lyle is reluctant to go with him because he doesn't want to be abandoned again. Seeing that Lyle won't leave, Hector can only keep apologizing. Even when he's being eyed by other alligators, he doesn't back down. He hopes that Lyle can live happily with Josh. Looking at Josh's sincere eyes, Lyle finally agrees. But just as they escape, they run into the police head-on. At this moment, Josh suddenly realizes that running away can't solve any problems. If they want people to accept Lyle, they must make people understand him. Seeing an advertisement on a bus, Josh gets a great idea. Even though they're caught between two groups of police, Hector remains calm. With just a little ruse, he successfully helped Josh and Lyle escape, but unfortunately, Hector is caught. The police are in hot pursuit. In order to shake them off, Josh starts driving without a license. They dash directly into a theater. In order to let everyone hear Lyle's beautiful singing, Josh contacts his classmate. With her help, they manage to get to the singing competition venue. When the unexpected guests show up, not only are the contestants scared, but the judges are also taken aback. Oh my God, is this going to be a man-eating show? As soon as Lyle gets on stage, he's terrified. To make him start singing, Josh decides to set an example.
Maybe we started in 10 feet tall.
Listening to Josh's off-key singing, Lyle finally can't resist and goes on stage himself.
Take a look at us now.
When Lyle starts performing, the whole audience is in an uproar. All the contestants rush onto the stage to dance together, and thunderous applause breaks out from the audience. At this moment, Lyle is finally accepted by everyone. Seeing how happy they are, Grumps is still resentful and sues them in court. But who would have thought that when he does this, it's discovered that Hector's grandmother is the director of the zoo, which means they can keep any animal. From then on, the Prims live a happy life, and Grumps's kitten even switches sides. In fact, whether it's an alligator or other animals, as long as we get rid of our prejudices, they all have their cute sides. This movie is called Lyle, Lyle, Crocodile. The vocalist of Lyle's songs in the movie is actually Shawn Mendes. Although it doesn't reach the adaptation level of Paddington, it's a warm-hearted family movie. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.